Slavoj Zizek draws from the work of Hegel, Marx, and Freud in developing his social and political theory. But Zizek's most salient influence is the French psychoanalyst Jacques Lacan, who wrote extensively in the 1950s to 1970s and integrated the structural and linguistic concepts popular in philosophy at the time with traditional Freudian psychoanalysis. In a public appearance filmed in the 2005 documentary Zizek, an audience member accuses Zizek's work of disguising a dogmatic Lacanianism. After offering the retort that his overt criticism of Lacan differentiates him from, for example, the dogmatism of many Derridians, Zizek calls the interlocutor out for knocking on an open door. Zizek is an unabashed Lacanian. In the Sublime Object of Ideology, which inspires this article, Zizek synthesizes Marxist social theory with Lacan's psychoanalytic approach to ideology. Here's a quick breakdown. Zizek starts with a common Marxist defense of communism, that real-world applications of Marxist theory are not real communism. Zizek uses this statement as a jumping-off point, not for elaborating a political theory, but for further discussion of the function of ideology at the level of individual psychology. Ideology, according to Zizek, veils a sublime object that differs in essence from the real that it represents, and holds an uncanny influence over cognition at the individual and group levels. In Lacanian theory, ideology is separated from the real by fantasy. From the clinical perspective, passing through the fantasy resolves the conflict that arises from the gap between the real and the ideal, that can, if it remains unconscious, become the object of neurosis or obsession. What exists at this gap is a non-thing that Lacan refers to as the objet petit a. Objet is French for object, as in a psychic object. Petit a is French for lowercase a, which is the symbol that Lacan used to represent this object. Objet petit a is the psychic disturbance's object of projection that arises from the difference between the sign and that which it signifies, and that is insatiably out of touch with both objective reality and that which can be grasped explicitly in phenomenological consciousness. Objet petit a differs from Lacan's capital A symbol, which he uses to represent the ever-present other. The objet petit a is a reflection of an attempted psychology formed in reaction to the conceived perceptual gaze of the other being the superegoic determiner of the ideological ethic and/or the adjudicator of its realness or acceptability. This reflection masks a specific kind of desire that can never be completely assuaged, just as an ideology can never be completely realized. This desire presents an infinite repetition of hedonistic goal setting, be it for pleasure proper, or for the manifestation of an ideology that presumes to satisfy the ever-present gaze of the other. Although the objet petit a escapes resolution, it is infinitely sourced by this insatiable desire, what Lacan calls jouissance, to see it thus resolved. Zizek's sublime object of the ideal, then, is not the ideal itself, but the ever-negated objet petit a, fed and sustained by the surplus desire, that little bit of attractive valence that draws one repeatedly back to the ideal.